Ladies and gentlemen, the President of Stony Brook University, Dr. Samuel L. Stanley, Jr.
So, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It's great to see you all, and I appreciate you taking the time to come today. I wanted to begin by acknowledging some special guests in the audience, and I'm looking for them now, but I also have them. Oh, here we go. Great. First of all, New York State Assemblyman, a great friend of Stony Brook University, and in fact, a Stony Brook alum. Please welcome Steve Engelbreit. Steve. Another great friend of Stony Brook University, and someone he always reminds me, his district actually involves our R&D park. Please welcome Mike Fitzpatrick. Michael, thank you for your support. Suffolk County Legislator Kara Hahn. Kara, where are you? Brookhaven Town Councilwoman Valerie Cartwright. Valerie. There she is. Welcome, Valerie. And thank you for everything you do for Stony Brook. And representing United States Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Melanie Sinesi. Melanie? Thank you for representing the senator. The Stony Brook Council plays an incredibly important governance role and advisory role to Stony Brook University. Please join me in welcoming Stony Brook Council member Christopher Hahn. Chris. Okay. Thank you. Much appreciated. So I want to begin by welcoming the new faculty who are here today. This is a big part of the event today, is actually to have the opportunity to welcome the new faculty. And I'll say I look forward to the opportunity to meet each and every one of you individually when we go out to the reception, which will close this event. So after this event, we'll have a great reception on the stairs. And I look forward to having the chance to meet every one of you and welcome you personally to Stony Brook. But in the meantime, could you please rise so this assembly could welcome you to the university? I can't tell you how pleased I am that you've elected to join this great research university. And speaking on behalf of the senior administration, the deans, the department chairs, everyone, I will tell you that we are absolutely committed to your success. We are invested in you. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you reach your goals in terms of your scholarship, in terms of your teaching, and have incredibly productive, extraordinarily productive careers at Stony Brook University. We will work with you every step of the way, and as I said before, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining the university. You know, I need my slide advancer. Thank you. Otherwise, we'll be stuck here for some period of time. So I wanted to mention new leadership at the university. Before I do that, I want to acknowledge some of our current leaders, particularly just the 3 senior vice presidents who I hope are here today. First, Dennis Asanis, our provost and senior vice president for academic affairs. Dennis, there you are. Thanks for joining. Dexter Bailey, senior vice president for advancement. Dexter, thank you for everything you do. And last but certainly not least, Ken Kushansky, Senior Vice President for the Health Sciences, Dean of the School of Medicine. Ken, thank you for your stewardship of Stony Brook Medicine. So 3 individuals who are new to their positions. David Conover, Vice President for Research. Please join me in congratulating David. There he is. Not a stranger to Stony Brook University, served as Dean of the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences, had a very distinguished career at the National Science Foundation as well as director. David is doing a spectacular job in this position, and again, David, thank you for what you're doing. Judy Greiman, serving as Chief Deputy to the President and Acting Vice President for Government and Community Relations. Judy, please stand so everybody can see you. Thank you. They talk about hitting the ground running. I would say Judy has hit the ground with a Usain Bolt sprint. She's been amazing, and thank you for everything you're doing for the university. And someone who also has hit the ground running is Nicholas Shabetta, the Vice President for Communications and Marketing and Chief Communications Officer. Nicholas, where are you? There he is. Nicholas came to us from Ketchum. I think he's been doing crisis communication since day one, but been doing an outstanding job and really working to bring us to a professional level in our communications in all areas. And let me thank the folks who actually were responsible for helping me produce these slides today. A great example of the new things in communications. Thank you, too, very much. 3 new deans at the school. Fotis Soteropoulos, the new dean for the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, will be starting October 15th, came to us from the University of Minnesota. Let's give Fotis a hand in absentia. Mary Trular, the dean of the School of Dental Medicine, appointed. Mary did a great job as interim. There she is. Did a great job as interim and will continue to lead that school, and we're very pleased that you're going to do this. And then Jacqueline Mondros, the new dean for the School of Social Welfare. Is Jackie here? Yes, there you are. Jackie, welcome. Came to us from Hunter College. We're very excited that you're here. And I did want to acknowledge the 2 departing deans, the departing dean for the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences and the departing dean for the School of Social Welfare. Those are, of course, Yaakov Shamash and Francis Brisbane. Let's hear it for both of them. Luckily for us, they're not departing the university. Yaakov is going to stay on in his role as Vice President for Economic Development, and Francis in a new role as Vice President for Health Sciences Workforce Diversity. So they will continue to make contributions to the university. And then I wanted to welcome Peter Small, the founding director of the Global Health Institute. Peter, I see you right there. Please stand or acknowledge so we can see you. This is a new initiative for Stony Brook University, one that's going to be focused primarily in our Madagascar location. That's the Central Val Bio behind Peter in the picture. Peter comes to us from the Gates Foundation. It's going to be a multidisciplinary effort that's going to involve both sides of campus to really try and make a difference in the health for one of the poorest countries in the world. And Peter, we're very excited about you and what you're going to bring, so welcome. And I wanted to thank 3 people who are serving important interim roles currently. Edmund Hayes is the interim dean for our new School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Edwin, are you here? We'll applaud anyway. Michael Ospitali is the interim chief information officer. Michael, thank you. And Wolf Schaefer, the interim dean for international academic programs and services. Wolf, are you here? Great. Thank you so much for your contributions. So, as I sit here now, and this is, I think, either the 6th or 7th time I've actually given a State of the University, I have a sense of optimism that I think I've almost never had before. I believe that Stony Brook University, in part because of some of the progress we've made, is absolutely uniquely positioned at this point in time to extend our reach and impact on a local, national, and global stage. And I have to say, it's never been more important for research universities to have this kind of impact. The problems we face as a region, as a country, and as a planet have never, I think, been more pressing. And universities are very special in what we can bring to approaching those problems. The global challenge of infectious diseases, something that I've been concerned with my entire career, but which we know broke out with the Ebola virus outbreak. Climate change and the consequences of natural disasters on a scale in which we've never seen before. All of us, of course, experience locally the ravages of Superstorm Sandy. But these kind of events are taking place around the world, and they're challenging us in so many different ways. The issues around income inequality, something that I think really threatens our social compact. And then around the world, the problem of conflict, both between states and within states, again, threatens the fabric of civilization. As I said before, I believe universities are uniquely capable of dealing with this. We assemble some of the smartest people in the world, and we are multidisciplinary. Many of these problems do not have a technical solution. There isn't a technology solution. You have to bring together. Technology is important, but you have to bring together the humanists, the social sciences. They are necessary for the solution to these problems. And universities have these disciplines, have them adjacent to each other. We can work across disciplinary boundaries. We can work across regional and national boundaries. We can approach these problems, and we can emerge with inventive and effective solutions. That's what universities can do. That's what Stony Brook University can do. And I believe, as I said before, that we can now do this better than we've ever been able to do it before. How are we going to do it? Well, first of all, our faculty have to lead the way. They're absolutely critical to our success. We now have 1,803 full-time faculty, and that's been bolstered by 243 net new hires. I'm not talking about just 243 hires. I'm talking about 243 net new hires that we've done since 2011 because of the SUNY 2020 program. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but that's been absolutely vital to us expanding our faculty. And this is the most distinguished faculty in SUNY, not one of the most. This is the most distinguished faculty in SUNY, and it's also one of the most distinguished faculty in the world. And you don't need to take my word for it. Sally Dawson from the C.N. Yang Institute for Theoretical Physics, receiving the Humboldt Research Award. David Conover, receiving the Oscar E. Seti Award, which has to do with supporting fisheries globally. Iwa Ojima, the most recent member of our faculty to be elected to the National Academy of Inventors. We had 2 Guggenheim Fellows this year, showing our excellence in the humanities. Matthew Barnson in music, and Rowan Ricardo Phillips in English. Patrick Hearing, from Molecular Genetics and Microbiology, was elected to the American Academy of Microbiology. James Latimer won the prestigious Hans A. Bethe Prize in Physics and Astronomy. And Dennis Sullivan won the Balzan Prize in Mathematics. Again, external validation of the outstanding quality of our faculty. We had 2 people elected to the American Association for the Advancement of Science, Clint Rubin from Biomedical Engineering and Erwin London from Biochemistry, Cell Biology, and Chemistry. And we had 4 SUNY Distinguished Professors elected this time. Our Provost, Dennis Asanis, in Mechanical Engineering, Robert Lazarsfeld in Mathematics, Nancy Tomes in History, and Erwin London in Biochemistry and Cell Biology and Chemistry. And we had 1 SUNY Distinguished Service Professor, David Bynum, who made tremendous contributions to the university, particularly in biotechnology. And we'll miss David. He retired recently, but we're so glad he had this honor before he stepped down. You remember in 2014, Stony Brook was unique in having 3 of our faculty members nominated for the Indianapolis Prize, the highest prize given in the area of conservation. And in 2014, Pat Wright won that prize. And here she is at the New York Stock Exchange, ringing the bell with lemurs in the background, a great picture. This year, we have 2 nominees, Carl Safina from the Safina Center and Russell Mittermeier from Anatomical Sciences. And again, it's remarkable for one institution to have 2 nominees this time around in 2016, and we hope that they'll get to ring the bell soon as well. So it's an amazing faculty, a faculty capable of doing incredible things. But we also, of course, have spectacular students. And I'm inspired every day, I have to tell you, by our students. They are really amazing. The determination and grit that they show on a daily basis continues to impress me. We had more than 34,000 applicants for 2,800 spots in our first-year class. We are now the 7th most selective of all public universities in AAU. And we accepted more students now, and we have the biggest enrollment we've ever had in our history. I think it's 25,272. I don't know if Braden is in the audience, but Matt Whalen is nodding. 25,272 students, the most we've ever had. And yet the quality is the highest it's ever been among our undergraduates, both in terms of their SAT and GPA. And that's a remarkable statistic. And these students bring energy, they bring curiosity, and they bring a fundamental desire to make the world a better place. And so working with our faculty, they create an extraordinarily powerful team for change. Now, we have these great students, and they do some amazing things. I just wanted to focus on a few of them individually. Morgan DiCarlo, the new face of civil engineering. Dhruv Dixit won the prestigious Goldwater Scholarship. Ruchi Shah, the Thomas J. Bardos Science Education Award. And then we had 4 Fulbright Scholars this year, the most, again, tied for the most we've had in any given year. Michelle Chiarapa, Erica Mukherjee, Alyssa Schoenman, and Masra Shamim, all Fulbright Scholars. Very proud of each and every one of them. I don't know if any of them are here, but let's give them a applause. Amazing accomplishments. Now, these great students and this great faculty need facilities and infrastructure to help them succeed. And that's an important part of what we need at the university. We just opened the new computer science building. This is for the 7th ranked Department of Computer Science in the United States based on NRC, so a great department, deserves a great facility, and for those who've seen it, this is a state-of-the-art building. The Toll Drive residence to help house our great students. We already have 10,000 students living on campus right now. We've had more demand, and we're building to meet that demand. This will add about 750 beds, and this project is moving forward. And the medical and research translation building, the MART, and the hospital bed tower, which will house the new children's hospital. This is one of the largest projects ever at Stony Brook. It's about a 460,000 square feet, $480 million project. It's going to change the face of East Campus and really help continue the powerful trajectory that Stony Brook Medicine is on. And we're very excited about this building and the kind of capacity it's going to give us, both in the clinical and research arena. The Innovation and Discovery Center. This is a new building that's a rendering that will be built on our R&D park. It'll be the third building in the R&D park. It's going to be a mezzanine space, as we call it, where we'll be able to decant companies from our Long Island High Technology Incubator and other incubators in the region and move them to better space, keep them connected to the university and to our faculty and students, but move them to a more productive space. And at the same time, we may have faculty laboratories there as well, because we found in CWIT and the Advanced Energy Center that bringing our faculty together next to industry, startup companies can make a big difference. Productive collisions that lead to innovation and discovery. And we will also hopefully house Startup New York companies there as well, a major program for us moving forward. The Island Federal Credit Union Arena, this was a remodel, but a spectacular remodel. It's a great home now for the Stony Brook Seawolves men's and women's basketball team. They're going to be achieving pretty amazing things. And I'm going to take just a second to point out the great work that athletics is doing. So use the men and women's basketball team again to point out the great things that are happening with athletics. Athletics is something that pulls the university community together, but also pulls the regional community together and also gives us national recognition. They had a great year last year. 4 America East Scholar Athletes of the Year, 3 America East Conference Champions, 6 America East Conference Athletes of the Year, and all maintaining a GPA that's greater than 3.08, so about 3.1. We'll round up, the greater than 3.1. Under Sean Hilbrand's leadership as athletic director, please give a hand to our student athletes. So let me talk about renovations again. I'm going to get back to facilities and talk about renovations again. We're about to launch a renovation of the student union. This is long overdue. For anybody who's been in the student union, know that's a long overdue renovation. We have $19 million that the state has provided, and we're very grateful for the state's support on that and critical maintenance dollars. And that's going to help us turn this into a much more fitting facility for our students, and we're excited about that. But we also have another place and space, I think, that needs renovation and refreshing. And I want to announce for the first time that we're going to take a very good approach to the Melville Library. This is, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This is the current library. It's a fantastic space in terms of square footage, but we need to utilize it much more effectively. Today's students really are looking for a knowledge commons, a place where they can come together and study, that has the kind of furniture that will allow them to collaborate in groups, allow them to work independently, and as they've told me many times, lots of electrical outlets. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we're going to provide that. We can do better than this. If you notice, none of these chairs are the same around here. We can do better. Okay, and we're going to do better. This is what it's going to look like. This is going to be the Melville Library Commons, all new furniture, upgraded spaces, new learning spaces, and we're going to start this project, and I'm digging together the money to do it, and we'll reach out for some support from philanthropy as well. But we're going to get started during Christmas vacation. We're going to work on the North Reading Rooms during Christmas vacation, and we're going to have this done when you come back next fall as well. So, when you put together great facilities and you support spectacular faculty and students, amazing things can happen. And that's what's been happening at Stony Brook. And our impact is global. We are educating, informing, and benefiting people from around the world. And I just wanted to go through some very cool examples of that, things that captured my imagination, research work that's been coming from Stony Brook, and captured the world's imagination as well. Andrew Fields and Damien Champion in our School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences described something amazing, virgin birth, essentially, of sawfish. So this very large vertebrate giving rise to virgin birth through parthenogenesis. Females giving rise to female an example maybe that males are pretty dispensable. We could argue about that, but that's what happened. But this is an endangered species, so this was remarkable science to find that it could reproduce, that females could reproduce without the necessity of sex in a males. This has had more than 3 billion impressions around the world, so people have really been interested in this. But also, I think very importantly, it's called attention to this endangered species and the risk it's under right now, and that may help preserve it in the future. Sonia Harmon and her research team at Stony Brook's Turkana Basin Institute in Kenya found the earliest evidence of stone tool making in this cradle of humankind. 3.3 million years ago, our distant ancestors, or some branch off our distant ancestors, were making tools. And that pushes that time back 700,000 years for when people had first thought tool making was taking place. And 1 million years before Homo, the genus that we're a member of, Homo sapiens, existed. This helps us think about our ancestry, helps remind us of our common descent, and helps, I think, help us find our shared humanity. More than 1 billion impressions worldwide. David Krauss and his team, who've made some amazing discoveries in Madagascar in their site there, made another amazing discovery, and this was Ventana certici in Madagascar. This is a large Mesozoic animal. It's one of the largest early mammals that have been found more than 60 million years ago. This is like a groundhog on steroids, basically. It weighed more than 20 pounds. It has these strange phalanges, which they don't completely understand, really large olfactory bulbs, so it was a great smeller. And it's part of a larger family, Allotheria, which has become extinct. And these kind of discoveries not only give us a window into evolution in our past, but also may give us some clues about extinction. What happened so this large family disappeared, and how does that provide clues for us as we face extinction of species on a global scale? This had more than 112 million impressions worldwide. Anytime I'm on the Long Island Expressway or on the Long Island Railroad, I think about how nice it would be to have an alternative mode of transportation. Teleportation would be really nice. We haven't quite developed that at Stony Brook University yet, but we have done quantum teleportation, and this is work by Zuji Wei in the C.N. Yang Institute for Theoretical Physics, who's actually doing transport of information without actual matter moving on a physical space. It involved entangled quantum particles. I don't fully understand it, but it is a stepping stone. That's just truth and disclosure. But that's a stepping stone, I think, towards building a quantum communications network and quantum computing, which really could revolutionize how we compute in the future. A lot of the important discovery research we do is at Brookhaven National Laboratory. Stony Brook and Battelle Memorial Corporation have had the contract for Brookhaven National Laboratory since the early 90s. And we had to recompete it, basically. We had to go before the Department of Energy and submit a proposal to get the right to continue to manage Brookhaven National Laboratory. We won that recompetition. We now will manage Brookhaven for at least another 5 years, with an option for as many as 15 more if we perform well. That's absolutely key to us, and let me give a round of applause, and please join me, and the people who helped make that possible. That was a major effort. We have 21 joint appointments with Brookhaven National Laboratory now. So these are professors who have appointments both at Stony Brook and BNL. We've recruited some amazing people. We're going to grow that to 46 over the next 10 years and really continue to collaborate and push science in that area. The work they do there is amazing. The image on top you see is of the National Light Source Synchrotron 2, the brightest light source in the world. The photon sciences that come from that are key to a number of scientific disciplines. And then the RHIC, the Relativistic Heavy Ion Collider, continues to provide new information about the origins of the universe and is really probably the most productive component of nuclear physics in the world. And I'll just point out that Dhruv Dixit, who I mentioned earlier as our 2015 Goldwater Scholar, he actually worked at Brookhaven National Laboratory as an undergraduate, pointing out the possibilities for research at Stony Brook University. It's not just physics. Uday Mol and her colleagues have shown that removing a mutant p53 molecule, p53 is a naturally occurring tumor suppressor, that if you remove the mutant p53 molecule from cells, you can actually cause tumor regression. This is potentially an important breakthrough in the treatment of cancers. And our devotion and commitment to discovery research, basic research, I think is epitomized by our creation of the Discovery Fund. So last year, Stony Brook announced the Discovery Fund, a $200,000 first prize to support basic and applied research. We had a number of faculty members submit projects. We narrowed down to 4 finalists. We had a Shark Tank style presentation where the finalists presented to a panel of distinguished judges that included a Nobel laureate. And the Discovery Prize was awarded to Lori Krug for her project of nanotools to understand the role of viruses in cancer. But our other 3 finalists had outstanding projects, and each of them was awarded $50,000 as well. We are going to raise money to continue the Discovery Fund. Our goal is to raise $25 million to help support the fund in the future. We are committed, as I said before, to discovery research, and we want to help enable our faculty to make the kind of discoveries that will change the world. Not all of our discoveries or not all of our research is basic. Some of it is very applied, but it can be applied in areas that really matter to our region. And one of the best examples of that is the work we're doing on Shinnecock Bay. We are working to restore that body of water with support from the Landau Foundation, and particularly we're trying to repopulate the shellfish population. One of the things some of you may or may not know is that shellfish are natural filtrators. They filter water essentially, take debris out of water. So in growing the shellfish population actually helps you get clean water back, and we're making a major effort to change that waterway, and it's an important component of what we're doing. We're also working with Suffolk County on ways to deal with wastewater, and we're working with the state and Suffolk County to perhaps develop demonstration projects, which would be at our Southampton campus, to find better ways to get nitrogen out of surface water, more advanced technology to deal with that. Energy remains a critical issue for Long Island and a critical issue for the world. And in an unprecedented, I think, set of events, Stony Brook University was awarded 4 grants from the Advanced Research Project Agency, ARPA, of the Department of Energy, ARPA-E, to get 4 grants from them at one time. Yeah, let's hear that. Fantastic. This is cutting-edge science, but with some very practical implications. So Ya Wang and her team received an award for on-demand targeted air conditioners, John Longdon for a project for condensing water vapor for improved cooling, William Warwick for microemulsions to help cool power plants, and Sotirios Mamalis for a natural gas-based generator to power homes. These are exciting projects, tremendous funding, and we look forward to them coming to fruition. All of us sleep at night, I think, and Stony Brook researchers Helene Benvista and Hidok Lee had a very important study that has had more than 5 billion impressions worldwide that showed that sleeping on your side actually appears to more beneficially help the brain remove waste products than any other position. So who knew? I'm sure many of you now are going to sleep on your side. I think sales of these pillows that go between your legs are probably going to skyrocket. But it shows the kind of science we're doing. This was based on dynamic magnetic resonance imaging. MRI, of course, invented at Stony Brook. Shows the evolution of the technology, again, for a finding that may have very practical implications. And it's not all about science and technology. It's also about the humanities and the social sciences. The work being done by Michael Kimmel for the Center of Study for Men and Masculinities is extraordinarily relevant to everything that's happening in the world today. His International Conference on Masculinities, this is a picture taken, and I'm sure you'll recognize some of the people in that picture, including Gloria Steinem, attracted more than 539 million impressions worldwide, was an extraordinary success. Michael is investigating men and masculinities. What is our concept of what it means to be a man? And particularly getting men engaged in gender equality and helping them understand it's in their self-interest to get engaged. And Michael is doing great stuff. Please join me in congratulating him. One of the important missions of the university involves economic development. In and of itself, Stony Brook is a major contributor to Long Island's economy. We're the largest single-site employer on Long Island. We're now about a $2.3 billion organization. A lot of that is Stony Brook Medicine, but about a $2.3 billion organization. And we probably have an economic impact in the region of $5 billion in this area. But we also make a huge difference by the students we educate, help to create a highly educated workforce for Long Island. That's another way we contribute. And also through the startup companies developed by our graduate students, developed by our faculty, or for roles they play in advising other companies successfully. We've participated in a startup in New York with 18 companies now on campus, including a company from Korea that's come all the way from Korea to locate on the Stony Brook campus, and we plan to add more. Clint Rubin received a $3 million award from NIH to create a new bioscience hub That's a very prestigious grant to have at Stony Brook, and it's going to help us in technology transfer to move our discoveries into the marketplace. And Stony Brook University, you just saw the announcement yesterday, has now been the first university and only university in New York to receive 3 Centers for Advanced Technology awards, something that makes us unique. And the CAT awards, again, are designed to accelerate technology transfers. Let's hear it for everybody involved in that. And I talked, when I introduced Ken, about Stony Brook Medicine, continues on an amazing trajectory. We're leading the Delivery System Reform Incentive Payment Program, or DSRIP program, which is designed to reform Medicare and Medicaid in Suffolk County. It's designed to really change and improve healthcare delivery for those who need it the most. We have the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences that will be coming online, and the Martin New Children's Hospital will bring the power of the best in discovery research and clinical care to our region. And we're developing a hospital network. You can see Stony Brook Medicine here anchoring Eastern Long Island and Southampton Hospital. I've left hospitals that aren't relevant to us right now out of the slide. But this network, I think, is going to help us provide absolutely the best in care and medicine to all Suffolk County. And even as we grow big, we don't forget about the individuals. And one of the fantastic things that happened just this year was the fact that Stony Brook Medicine had the opportunity to celebrate the 100,000th time, the introduction of new life to our region, and that's something spectacular. So all of this is occurring at a university that has, as part of its DNA, the notion of access and access to excellence. That's incredibly important for us. And that value, again, has been recognized externally. The Consumer Digest has ranked Stony Brook among the top 5 U.S. public universities offering the most academic value for the dollar. And College Net Pay Scale and Social Mobility Index said that Stony Brook University is ranked 3rd in the nation among public AAU research universities for boosting students' economic and social mobility. As I said before, this is a core part of our mission. I talked before about income inequality, and the most effective way to address income inequality is through higher education, and that's what we're doing at Stony Brook University. This is from the President's College Scorecard that just came out, and shows you that among public AAU universities, Stony Brook ranks 11th among all public AAU universities in wages and annual earnings 10 years after initial enrollment. That's a great figure because we know our low cost tells you, again, the kind of value that we provide. I think our commitment to economic and social mobility is really epitomized by our EOP program. As everybody knows, our EOP AIM program is the best in SUNY. We graduate our EOP AIM students, which come from economically disadvantaged students, at a higher rate than the rest of the students at the university. It's an incredible program, and Cheryl Hamilton and her team do a great job. Is Cheryl here today? I don't know. Let's applaud anyway. They do a great job. This year we've expanded the program last year. I'm going to try to expand the program again next year with new money that's come from the state for EOP. But this year we did something special. As part of our Digital Mobility Now platform, we provided iPads to each and every one of the EOP students. They have course schedule downloaded on them. They have content material for courses downloaded on them. And they also help make up the digital divide that may exist between economically disadvantaged and other students. We hope to expand this program to the whole campus at some point in time, but right now we hope it's making a difference for our EOP students. And just to put a face on the EOP program, many of you may have seen the report we had on Lyncia Bertil, Dorana John, Natalie Forger, Kamala Moore, and Shanice Richards, 5 women who came from Brooklyn, 3 first-generation students, all members of the EOP program. All 5 graduated from Stony Brook. They graduated with honors. 2 of them are now pursuing their master's degree. 1 is taking a gap year before applying for medical school, and the other 2 are gainfully employed in the medical technology area. This is what Stony Brook does, and I think we should all be very proud of it. And we're going to continue, and it's absolutely paramount in importance to make this a campus that is safe and secure and welcoming and respectful for all of us who reside at Stony Brook University. We were taking actions to promote tolerance, to promote equity, and to promote safety on the campus. And this includes continuing our pioneering Red Watch Program, Red Watch Band program, which is designed to deal with problems of toxic drinking, a bystander program, which we may expand to get engaged in areas around violence on campus too. The Green Dot Program, which is designed to end violence on campus, again, a bystander training program, which we've initiated at Stony Brook University. Stand Up, designed to stop bullying on campus, an important problem that we're dealing with. Safe Space for our LGBT community. Providing a safe space is very important and a welcoming environment for those students. And finally, He for She. As you may have heard, we are one of 10 universities worldwide that are part of UN Women's He for She initiative. This is designed to promote gender equality, and particularly the role of men in promoting gender equity. All of these and many other programs are designed, as I said before, to make this the safest, most respectful, and welcoming campus possible. So, as I said, I think we're uniquely positioned to extend the reach and impact of the university on a global and national and regional scale. So how do we move this forward and fulfill our destiny? And I've got about 5 slides to go, and so bear with me. First of all, we have to manage our resources. That's incredibly important. Resources are key to everything we need to do, and we need to make sure we manage them as effectively as possible. This slide shows Project 50 Forward, our effort for operational excellence and academic greatness. It's designed to really help us manage and administer as effectively and efficiently as possible. Through efforts in reducing our costs of procurement and organizational changes, we've taken on average about $12 million each year out of spend. The accumulated total now is more than $48 million. Those are dollars we use to buffer ourselves against budget cuts. Those are dollars we use to protect the academic mission. Those are dollars we use to reinvest in things we care about. We're going to continue Project 50 Forward. We may look at a refresh in it. It involves cooperation from students, faculty, and staff, and administration to make it work. But we want to continue to do this. It's important. One, obviously, because of the money savings and efficiency savings. But two, it also tells those who invest in Stony Brook that we care, that we are good stewards of the money that you put into the university. And it's important to be able to make that statement. And Project 50 Forward helps us do that. New York SUNY 2020. I can't tell you how important that's been to the university. It's been a remarkably successful program. We have used it to hire new faculty. You saw the 243 net new faculty. That's really secondary to New York SUNY 2020. We've hired advisors to help students, particularly help our completion agenda. All of this is incredibly important, and all of this has been based on very modest tuition increases, but tuition increases that are predictable and provide predictability for students and their families so they know what their cost of attendance is going to be at Stony Brook going forward. That's made a huge difference to them, and that's made a huge difference to the university as well because we can plan our budgets. I'm very proud to say that undergraduate student government at Stony Brook University was the first undergraduate student government in the SUNY system to come out and support a re-extension of SUNY 2020, and I thank members of USG for that. Thank you. When we get an extension of SUNY 2020, and we're going to be working towards that, it's going to be important to retain the maintenance of effort clause, which means simply that if we're having a raise in tuition, we don't cut the state allocation to balance that out. We want to make sure that budget stays flat. And in fact, it would actually help a little bit to grow that. We had some increase in wages based on negotiated contracts that weren't covered. So as we look forward, I'm going to look for a modest increase in state allocation to help us cover that, as well as SUNY 2020, to really get our finances in order and allow us to continue on the extraordinary trajectory we've been on. A capital plan and critical maintenance. I talked before about capital and how important it is to the university. We're standing in the Stoller Center. Those of you who know about the Stoller Center know that we've had a number of catastrophic disasters here in terms of pipes leaking, damaging the infrastructure of this important building. We have an aging infrastructure at Stony Brook. Many of our buildings were built in the 70s and 80s. They're aging, and unfortunately, they're not aging particularly well. And we need to have the dollars to do the critical maintenance so we don't have the kind of disasters that come from leaking pipes, shorted out electrical conduits, all the things that can pose a risk to the university and its functioning. We used to get as much as $87, $90 million in critical maintenance. Last year it was cut to $27 million. 2 years ago it was zeroed out of the budget. We can't work in that type of environment. We need that money restored. We will be great stewards of that money, but we have tremendous need that needs to be taken care of. And then we need a 5-year capital plan. If we're going to continue our growth, continue to support our faculty and students, we need to invest in infrastructure, in the buildings they need to be successful. The state has a great track record in this. I compliment the state of New York for their support and our elected officials for their support of capital for SUNY. It's been spectacular. I ask you to step to the plate again and help us move forward. I think Stony Brook and the other universities have generally made a difference with the projects we've engaged in. We'll continue to do that. I hope we have your trust, but we really do need your help moving it forward. And finally, we need to raise money through fundraising. Philanthropy is incredibly important to us. It really does make a difference in our quest for excellence, the ability to raise money externally. We've done some amazing things, and I want to congratulate Dexter and his team. From June 10th to June 2015, we've raised $428 million. That's a lot of money, $428 million. And you can see it's gone to support research on the campus. It's gone to support the campus infrastructure. It's gone to support faculty. Most of the money has gone to support faculty. It's gone to support student financial aid. We need more for student financial aid. Let me emphasize that's an area that we want to emphasize going forward, and also funds for excellence for our deans. We've been in the silent phase of a major campaign. In November, we will make an announcement about what's the opposite of the silent phase? The loud phase, the vocal phase, whatever you want to call it. We will announce that we're in an active phase of the campaign, and we're going to need your help to push this forward. We're going to need you to be important ambassadors for the university as we move forward and to make the case for Stony Brook University. But the need is tremendous. We need more donors. We need the donors who have given to give more. All of us need to step to the plate. But the benefits for the university are extraordinary, and I think we have a great case for investment in the university. So we're setting our sights high. I've talked about it before. We want to be among the top 20 of public universities. New York State, greatest state in the union? You could argue, right? Yeah. It should have a top 20 public university. New York State should have a top 20 public university. California has 4 or 5 of them, okay? New York State should have a top public university, and that should be Stony Brook University in my humble opinion. How do we get there? We need to increase our sponsored research. That needs to grow. We're making tremendous progress. David Conover released his most recent results at the end of June for that fiscal year. Our sponsored research was up 5.5% during that time in a complex environment. That's actually worth applauding, 5.5%. 10%, I see Ken saying something, 10% at the School of Medicine, 8% of the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. So we need everybody to come up, but that's making a huge difference for us. And one of the things that's most exciting is our application rate. So the number of applications we put in, that application number increased 22% from the year before. That's a great sign. Our new faculty are coming in, they're contributing, we're growing the number of submissions. And if we grow the number of submissions, we submit great things, we're going to grow the number of awards as well. We need to raise our 4-year graduation rates. We have a great student body, we're not graduating them at the rate we should. I made a commitment at the White House to increase those rates from what was 47% to 60% by 2020 or so. We've already gone up 4 percentage points, so we've gone from 47% to 51% in about a year and a half. So we can move the needle, but it's going to take work. It takes work from the faculty, it takes work from better work in advising, and we also have to get the message out to students about the desirability of finishing in 4 years as well, and what the advantages are of getting out in 4 years. All these things have to happen, but I think they will, and we need to raise those graduation rates. At the same time, we never want to lose track, both in our goal for completion and in our enrollment, of our commitment to diversity access while providing the highest quality of education. And as I mentioned before, and I won't reiterate it, we need to increase our investment in Stony Brook University by the state, by the federal government, by our local region, by our donors. All of them need to increase the investment in Stony Brook University. Continue our role in driving New York State's economy, continue to provide the best health care to our region and to the world. That's an important part of our mission. And most importantly, I think, because it drives everything, continuing to strive for excellence in everything we do. So that's pretty much the end. I think as we go forward now and we enter this new academic year, I'm going to ask you, as I said before, to be our ambassadors, to talk to people you know about the great things that are happening at Stony Brook University, about the difference we're making around the world, and how Stony Brook is a university that goes far beyond what people would expect of a public research university. Thank you so much. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you at the reception on the Stoller steps. And again, thanks so much for coming.